What is happening, Big Brown Breakdown listeners?
John Belf for the MacLife.com, sitting here beside Brendan Schaub in the Sugar Club in Dublin, where he's just come off stage from the first of 5 dates he's doing here in a row. Brendan, it was a nice introduction to the Irish people.
Yeah, it was. Everyone, here, especially on the streets, everyone's so friendly. Tonight the beer's flowing. It's, I would say it's the funnest crowd I've had. It's the roughest crowd. Not in a bad sense, but when I do fan questions, they're a little more gutsy, stuff like that. But it's fun, man.
Right.
But it's cool.
Right. And I think what a lot of people find interesting about your career, and since you've been in the public eye at least, there's been at least 3 distinct separate phases to it, right? At least 3 from the way we see it anyway. Yeah. There's the pro football, then there's the pro fighting, and now there's the comedy, the podcast arena, the punditry, and this kind of stuff. Now my question is, because of the first, I guess, ever since you were a teenager, I suppose, probably even before, you were competing athletically, you were doing this, you're doing that, various different sports, lots of different disciplines. And then you're not trading it off, but is it a different sort of buzz, this kind of aspect of your career? Do you feel the same butterflies before going out to a show?
Yeah, I feel the butterflies. It's just, I almost feel more pressure. Like fighting, don't get me wrong, I felt pressure, but everyone's so good, but there's more fear in fighting. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't my calling. I feel like, since I was a kid, I've always wanted to be in entertainment. My heroes were Adam Sandler and Jim Carrey. Right. I want to do Saturday Night Live. That was my goal. So, now it's just, I feel like I have this, and maybe it's my own ego and my own kind of self-consciousness, but I feel like I have to go in and win the crowd over because I'm this meathead doing comedy and people are like, oh, here he goes, give me this stupid story or, this story about fighting or something with that. And so my goal is to go in there and kind of win them over. Right. I always feel like even though, this is a pro, Brendan Schaub crowd, I feel like I have to go in there and really win them over.
Gotcha, okay. And a lot of people have seen you on television lately as well as part of your Showtime broadcasts, recently covering 3 dates on the World Press Tour for Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. First off, what was that like? Just the experience of seeing close up how incredibly big this fight is.
Yeah, I knew when I got the gig it was a big deal, and I knew it was a big deal. I was like, this could be pretty cool. And then when I got to LA, I don't think anyone, Paulie, myself, Conor, Floyd, Espinoza with Showtime, Dana White, I don't think anyone realized what kind of animal we were dealing with. People coming in, sold out LA, Staples Center, just packed, these celebs there. And I was like, this is crazy. Then we went to Toronto. That was the greatest sporting spectacle I've ever seen. You're talking people hanging off the rafters, and Conor was in his true form. Because that first night, Conor really didn't know the game plan. He came out there and was like, oh, we're just going to do this. And Floyd kind of pulled the rug from underneath him and came out firing. And I told everyone on that broadcast, wait till we get to Toronto. And then vintage Conor comes out. Floyd brings his A game, and it was just Drake's there. Yeah. It was, I've never seen anything like it, man. And I went, oh my God, this is insane.
How do you see it going down? If you can kind of break it down into small pieces, how do you see this fight going down? What are the important things that people should look for when they watch this fight?
Yeah, I think, this fight and the way I got the gig was I've always been really passionate about this and what Conor's going to do in this fight. And if you can go back and it's well documented, after UFC 205 in Madison Square Garden, after we beat Eddie Alvarez, I went on this popular show in America, and they go, what's next for Conor? I went, it's Floyd Mayweather. And everyone laughed and mocked me, like, oh my God, you know what you're talking about, and they just thought I was crazy. And the reason I called that, because I put myself in Conor's shoe, and I go, man, he's such a big star, he can kind of do what he wants to do. That's what I would do, man. And, here we are, it came to fruition. So with this fight, people are like, oh, you're just there because they have to have someone to support Conor. There has to be, it can't be all just, negative about Conor. Man, I wish I was that good of an actor where I could fake this. I'm passionate about it. I think Conor's a once-in-a-lifetime athlete. I think the way he moves, his speed, what he brings to that ring is going to give a 40-year-old Floyd a lot of problems. I think in those early rounds, I believe in this man. And it comes from my background in boxing. I was a Golden Glove champion, and I don't move like Conor. And I've seen guys who are way better fighters than me move with world-class boxers. And I see that feeling out period and how long it's going to take. And I go, well, damn. And this is before all this was announced. I go, man, if Conor fought Floyd, his movement is unbelievable. He fights so awkwardly. I could see him giving some problems. And then here we are. And people are like, oh, you're just saying that. I'm not, man. If anyone knows me, listen to the podcast, listen to my stand-up, yeah, like a producer's going to tell me what to say. That's never going to happen, man. They couldn't pay me enough.
And you're also of the opinion that the fight will not only break the Mayweather-Pacquiao pay-per-view record, but smash it.
I think Ray Charles could see that's going to smash pay-per-view numbers. I mean, it's not like I'm some mystic Big Brown here. I think you look at just the amount of attention this fight is garnering. Like, you're talking, it's crossed over to pop culture. My mom's like, I can't wait for the fight. My mom doesn't watch any fighting. In America, here, anywhere you go, I can't go get a haircut. I can't go to the barber shop. I can't go to get a coffee without someone going, Conor, Floyd, what do you think? It's literally all over, man. So, listen, Manny Pacquiao is the personality of that microphone. They did well, but it's nothing like this. And everyone can go, oh, it's a spectacle. And I don't know how it is here, but in the States, all the mainstream media is like, oh, it's crap. It's just a spectacle. Yeah. But you're covering it every goddamn day. You're covering it. Why is that? Why is it the first thing you cover? Because it's ratings. It's all anyone covers. It's all anyone cares about. Yeah. So you guys want to knock this fight, yet it's all you talk about. And then you can see guys in America who are forced to go, I think Conor has a chance. They don't know what they're talking about. But it's become bigger than life, man. And it should.
So in a sense, then, you're saying that you think that the narrative and the landscape kind of surrounding this fight is pretty much predominantly misinformation. No one really knows precisely, because it's not going to be the most traditional boxing match you've ever seen. You have obviously Floyd, one of the best boxers of all time, but no one really knows yet what Conor's going to do. I guess the point being then that's it, really. That is the point. No one knows what's going to happen, right?
The point is there's experts in boxing, there's experts in mixed martial arts. There's not an expert in mixed martial arts and boxing. They don't exist. But what there is there's haters, and what there is guys who, they hear an expert say something like Max Kellerman or Jim Lampley, who don't know anything about Conor McGregor, and then they regurgitate that. I'll have, I live in Santa Monica, I run the stairs all the time. I had someone who is a person a lot of people know, and he comes up to me, and he goes, bro, I saw you on Showtime, see you doing this stuff. Come on, does Conor really have a chance? And I go, all right, before we even do this, do you watch any boxing? He goes, no. I go, can you name another fighter at 147 pounds? He goes, no. I go, do you watch UFC? He goes, no. I went, so when this hypothesis that you just brought to me, where did you hear it? You heard someone regurgitate that, and then you're spewing this out, but you have no idea. We might as well talk about freaking chemical engineering, because as much as that as you do this sport. So it doesn't make sense. So the problem with mainstream media is they come up with this hypothesis, what they think is going to happen, but they have no clue. They have zero clue. I don't have a clue. But the clue I do have is I was a doubter of Conor McGregor before. I was like, God, that Eddie Alvarez fight. And you've heard, I said this on the Joe Rogan show, that's a bad matchup for him. He starches him. Max Holloway, Jose Aldo. I'm like, how are you going to doubt the guy? What I do know is Conor McGregor. What I do know is boxing. I'm not an expert, but goddamn, I know my stuff, man.
Right, of course, yeah. And so just finally, if you were going to be making that $100,000 bet with Max Kellerman, and he asks for a round or asks for a method of victory, what would you put your money on if you had to?
I would put my money on Conor winning more than 2 rounds in the first 6, and if there's a knockout, it comes from Conor McGregor in the first 5 rounds. I'd put a ton of money on that if someone wanted to argue that.